The public has seen, maybe even heard, repeated announcements of unaccredited institutions, disputes between regulators and universities, students discovering that their programs are invalid, and a growing concern about whether accredited truly guarantees quality. Coming up in this edition of Hot Issues are the fundamental questions about enforcement, capacity, and trust in the system. I am Kemini Amano, and today we go beyond press statements and official notices and examine how Ghana's tertiary education is regulated, whether the law is being applied fully, and what reforms are urgently needed to protect students and the future of higher education in this country. My guest is the Director General of the regulatory body, Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Professor Ahmed Jinapor.
This is the banking app that makes you live a lot more. Even when the family is apart, connection is just a tap away with the Stanbic app.
That's my daughter.
Tertiary Education Commission, Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. Regarding calling out institutions as being unaccredited, the latest information that we put out did not say those institutions are not accredited. We say we do not recognize them. There's a difference between accredited and non-recognition. And when you say an institution is not accredited, then you know for a fact that it has not been licensed to operate.
Okay.
So if it has not been licensed to operate within our spectrum, we say the institution doesn't have accreditation.
Okay.
The institution may have accreditation or license to operate by one or two bodies, but those bodies probably do not have the legitimacy to accredit those institutions. So what we've done is that we said they are not recognized.
Okay.
And if they are not recognized because they have one or two issues that they need to resolve, as a matter of fact, when we put out that list, initially it used to be 50. We had one of the institutions come, provide further and better particulars to the fact that they had accreditation, and we revised it.
Which institution is this?
It's an institution in Spain. I don't remember the names of it because normally, even though I sign those documents and letters, they are done by departments and divisions. So that is number one. Number two, we've also said that some certificates that are claimed to be gotten from some institutions are invalid because, number one, the basis upon which those certificates were given, which is the institutional accreditation of these institutions, are questionable. For you to operate as a tertiary institution, you need to have a license. That license is what we refer to as what? Accreditation. Beyond accreditation, you need to have accreditation for the specific program. Because for each of the programs that you are running, the infrastructure that is needed is different. So you can have an accreditation to run a business administration program, but you may not have the facilities to run medicine. So medicine has to be accredited just as pharmacy. So in our case, we've come to realize that a number of these institutions that happen not to be in Ghana, most of these institutions happen to be foreign institutions. They don't have accreditation. The operation is, questionable. And in each of these, we do serious checks, and we even engage the individuals. But I've said that about the percentage of people that you've heard, we calling them out. It's just a microcosm of the number of people that we've engaged. And to be honest with you, most of the people that we engage, when they understand and appreciate the dynamics of where they find themselves, they just say, look, we are not interested. I was given an honorary doctorate, so to speak, with the intention that I could use it. But if the regulator says that I cannot use it and it dilutes the environment, I'm ready to let it go. The
public opinion is that you don't engage some of these people behind closed doors. So you just release press statements to the media, and then they are in the public view that they are using fake titles.
So if you've been following this whole business relative to the name and shame when it comes to honorary doctorate, it started somewhere in May. Somewhere in May, we issued a public notice that if you have an honorary doctoral degree, you cannot use it. Then in June, we issued another reminder. And as I indicated, I can say for a fact that 99% of all the individuals who have come in the public domain, we've had some form of engagement with them. Private conversation, written letters. And in most instances, those who have agreed based on our conversation to shelve those degrees are more than those who we happen not to. It's only a few who I'm hesitant to use the word recalcitrant, who more or less refuse to heed to our advice. So it's not as if it's an issue of being on a personal vendetta. And most of these people, we don't even know them. There are some of them that have never met them. Until recently, I happen not to be involved in the engagement. It's just that in recent times that I had to get involved personally because I have to take ultimate responsibility. But I believe most people think that the job that we are doing is a good job. If you check, you can do, a survey of people who happen to have been using these titles, and they've stopped. In fact, just this Saturday, a very high-profile person in this country called me and told me that, look, he's going to be given an honorary doctorate by one of the prestigious institutions in this country. Should he go for it? I said, why not? I said, go for it. But he asked, can he use it? I said, no. Then he said, then why should he go for it? I said, well, the institution is acknowledging your contribution to society, and they are bestowing this title on you. There's nothing wrong with you going for it. But you cannot use it and sign that I'm Dr. this or Dr. that.
There are those who think that there are far more important issues to deal with than chasing people's titles.
These are also important issues. Because
what makes them important?
Let me state this. You cannot have a society that the human resource base, evidence in the highest level of academia, is diluted and corrupted. When you are referred to as Dr. this or Professor this, the assumption is you have a very high level of intellectual capacity. So if it is the case that in a society of ours, almost everybody and anybody is assuming that title, then it defeats this whole agenda of resetting that we have brought ourselves into. If you are asking for a society whereby we are looking at a certain group of people all over the world, you can go to the United States. How many people are professorial or how many people happen to have PhD? It's the highest academic attainment that you can ever think of.
But are there not far more pressing issues that GTech could be dealing with in our tertiary education system?
We are dealing with all of them. We are dealing with all of them.
Okay.
Today, as we speak, GTech has been more or less forceful in working to ensure that institutions across the country that are operating, they are operating under the auspices of quality. If you remember, recently we shut down about 149 distance learning centers. These are centers that the universities were operating in secondary schools. The individuals who are recruited mostly do not have the qualification. The people who are teaching there do not have the requisite expertise to teach. And these are people who are going to be graduating into the job market, asking for what? Jobs. And can you imagine that you are being overseen by a nurse who probably do not have the skills and capacity of being a nurse? So when I hear people say that there are far-pressing issues that GTech need to be engaged in rather than
chasing titles.
We are not chasing titles, no. We are giving accreditation, we are doing audit, we are ensuring that whatever needs to be done within the tertiary educational space is done. Today, as we speak, you just referenced GTech coming out with more or less a policy framework on the concept of matured.
Yes.
If you realize, walk around this country, especially in Accra, you see a white calico. It's put there, matured, 25 years, no certificate. How can you say that you are admitting somebody who has no certification at all?
We'll get into
so GTech, why this has gained a lot of attention is because it's something that has been festering for a very long time. And I believe that Ghanaians needed somebody or a body to try as much as possible to make sure that this canker is patched, and the over-abuse of titles is something that more or less need to be commensurate with the intellectual human base of the people who claim to be using it. If you say you're a professor, no matter where you happen to have attained it, you need to exhibit some level of professorship. If you do not demonstrate that, then it becomes a problem. If you have individuals who claim they are doctors, and the means by which they were given such PhD titles is through honorary, there's nothing wrong with it. But to more or less position yourself and pretend as if you are within that category, that I believe is a little bit an overreach.
I see. I want us to look at specific issues that have happened since you started cracking the whip on tertiary education. One with the Deputy Minister, Dr. Grace Ayensu Dankwa, whose professorship, use of professor, you questioned. Where has that got to?
Well, I think, first of all, regarding the Honorable Minister's case, it's been resolved.
Okay.
It's unfortunate, and I say that it was due to miscommunication. I've always said that she's a very accomplished person, beyond even politics. In terms of her private career, she's somebody that, as a nation, we should be proud of. And some of us who have girls as children, somebody that we look up to. But unfortunate as it is, I think at the end of the day, it brings to the sphere this whole idea of ranking. And I keep on saying that professorship, just like a commissioner of police, is a rank. It's not a title that is attained out of academic excellence. You need to be within that industry to be able to attain that. I mean, you can be the best of a speaker, but if you haven't gone through the journalism training and gotten the credentials of a journalist, you cannot go out there and say that you're a journalist. So, unfortunate as it was, I think it more or less gave us an opportunity to appreciate the whole spectrum of that area of career progression. Okay. And I've indicated, and I want to repeat it once and again, that you don't attain that title by virtue of not being within that space. You need to have gone through the rudiments of what the architecture in that space is.
So how was her issue resolved?
Well, the issue was resolved, closed door.
Okay.
We had a private conversation, and I think, as I said, it's been resolved.
So she can't use the professor title now?
She's not a professor.
Okay.
There's no dispute about it. She's not a professor, and that does not affect her integrity relative to what she's done to society. And I believe, based on the communication that we had, she appreciates it. And I think sleeping dogs are now what? We've made sleeping dogs to lie, so to speak. But as I said, it's an evolving matter that there are still some people who are still resisting our call for them to shelve it, even though they don't have those titles. You remember Hassan Ayaraga? Yeah. Hassan Ayaraga is still very adamant, but at least the society...
Do you plan to take any further action?
Well, for now, we will wait and see how... It's not about him.
But how much longer would you...
It shouldn't be about him.
I absolutely understand.
I think the most important thing that for us we've achieved is that we've been able to let the public know the difference between what an honorary doctorate is and an end doctorate is, and what end doctorate should be, how it should manifest, where you should get it from. It should come from accredited institution, and not just accredited institution. The program itself must be accredited.
But has he been able to come to you to present any
He has
documents?
not. He says he has 3. Okay. 2 honorary, 1 end, but he refuses to give it to us. But it's a matter that we'll deal with moving forward. No.
Another institution that came strong at you is SMC. One of those institutions published as non-recognizable by GTEC. How has that matter been resolved?
The SMC issue is still evolving. Okay. And I must say, sitting where I sit as the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, and the data that I have stumbled upon relative to the Swiss Management Center, I can say without any equivocation that Swiss Management Center has never had accreditation in Ghana or back home in Switzerland.
Really?
It has never. And I can prove it at anywhere, at any place.
Never had accreditation,
never had accreditation in Ghana. What they have had is certificate of recognition. And certificate of recognition within our space. And the LI for NAB is very clear on what certificate of recognition is. Certificate of recognition is basically a certificate that gives you the opportunity to start the accreditation process. So you can simply refer to it as certificate of commencement. It is not accreditation. And when you take the Swiss Management Center, SMC, certificate and that of Nicaragua, it can best be described as you buy one and you get one free. buy one degree and get another degree
How long
free.
have they operated in that?
It's been in the system for a very long time. So you get a DBA, Doctor of Business Administration Finance, from Swiss Management Center. Then the following year, University of Nicaragua will give you a PhD. And we have a lot of them in the system. I've heard people say that GTech at a point in time gave them clearance. I haven't seen the written document. I've looked through all the data, I haven't seen the written document. What I've seen is a public statement that was made by the then Executive Secretary, Kwame Datte. And even in that clearance, it said that those who have been cleared, if it is determined that there's fraud, it's revoked. So as we speak, I have never seen SMC certificate of accreditation. If anybody has it, that person should bring it.
But this matter has gone to court.
It's in court as we speak. The case is in court.
Somebody
Somebody has taken us to court, and we are waiting for the court to look at it, gives its ruling. But I can tell you, my sister, that finality will be brought to this case even after the court, when individuals who happen to hold SMC certificates are made to take lie detector tests. They themselves should attest to the fact that whether the certificates that they hold deep down in their heart, they know is valid or not. So I've looked at the transcripts, so many of the transcripts. I've compared them, I've given them to experts for them to look at the transcript, evaluate the transcript, and they have so many issues. But as I said, let's wait for the court to give a ruling. But from where I sit and what I know, the Swiss Management Center has never had accreditation in terms of an institution, in terms of program, and it's even become worse when you look at their relationship with the University of Nicaragua. It's buy one and you get one free.
I see. So what protections exist for Ghanaian students who have gone through SMC?
Well, the fact of the matter is that it's like you going to the airport with a fake passport. You need to take responsibility for that. Of course, the commission also, in terms of NAB, it's also one way or the other liable. But at the end of the day, as I keep on saying, the onus lies on you, the beneficiary of the certification that is emanating from the institution. So you need to be very responsible. And if we are talking of a degree, like a doctorate or a PhD, I think you need to be more critical by asking a lot of questions. And I'll give you a typical example. I've heard people say that we've had individuals who went to SMC, they have become vice chancellors, they have become advisors to the governor or the Bank of Ghana. Then I also say, is it not ironic that these individuals who happen to have gone through SMC, they've gotten professorship, they are vice chancellors or whatever, but they've enrolled in PhD again. You have some of those individuals who, as we speak, are enrolled doing PhD. How can you be a professor, have a PhD, and go and enroll in a PhD? Will you enroll in the first degree? Never. You can never enroll in the first degree because you've passed that stage. So that is why I keep saying that the individuals themselves should be made to take lie detector tests. They themselves, deep down in their heart, know that the certificates that they are holding is problematic. But of course, as I indicated, let's wait for finality to be brought to the matter legally. And once finality is brought to the matter, then we'll look at the ramifications that comes out of that decision.
It was also SMC that called to question your own professorship.
Yes,
Were you surprised
it wasn't
that happened?
SMC, though. It was an individual.
An individual.
But I don't begrudge that gentleman. And I honestly do not want to speak too much to it because he's not here to respond to whatever I'm going to say. But at the end of the day, I think he had every right to do that. His questioning brought to the limelight the need for, in fact, they say who watches the watchman? And it brought about the conversation for us to more or less critique individuals in public service. And I think that is exactly what the commission is doing. The commission, by virtue of its mandate being the regulator of the tertiary educational space, has every right to question people who, quote and unquote, have certification that are questionable. And I must say that most of the reports or the individuals that we tend to question their credentials, they are their own friends who come to report them to us. 99%. Same people work. Ghana is a compound house. So you need to know that as you are, I mean, it was somebody who came to ask for my credentials. And I can tell you on authority, most of the information that were being put out about me was coming from Winneba. Because that is where I worked. So I wasn't surprised. But we need to be watchmen of our neighbors. There's nothing wrong with that. So most of the people that we've questioned their credentials, the data mostly come from their own colleagues. So they will come and tell me that Kemine says she's a doctor. She never went to any school. We were with her here, and all of a sudden she sprang up with a certain doctorate. So investigate her. So we call you and say, this is what we've heard. Can you provide evidence? You provide the evidence, then we sit down with you and say, look, A, B, C, D, this is the problem. We educate you, you agree, then you say, look, I don't want it again. Let me just have my peace. And we've had so many people. Some of them are heading institutions. Some of them are working with government agencies. Some of them are working in the private sector. In fact, moving forward from next year, we are going to go to the legal area. A lot of we are getting signals that there are people who are lawyers who are quote unquote, don't have the degree.
I see.
Yes, yes.
How many of such reports have you received?
Well, we are still investigating.
Okay.
And as I said, the information always comes from the public. And this information is coming from nowhere, but people within the legal profession.
I see. So, Prof, here's a question.
Yes.
Did you earn your professorship, and how?
Oh, yes, I did. I did in the sense that, and I keep on telling people that in every society, there are rules and regulations. At University of Education, Winneba, I got there in 2010. In fact, I finished my doctorate in 2009. And I got a job and I dashed down. In fact, 2011, I was made the head of department when I wasn't even confirmed. Because that time, they didn't have that many people with terminal degrees. 2014, which should have been exactly 4 years, I was made a senior lecturer. 2014. 2017, I had applied for associate professor. I was UTAG secretary. Avoke Afubruni's era, you remember?
Yes.
Avoke was removed. I was UTAG secretary. I mean, I was a strong advocate man. Then Afubruni came in from 2017, 2018, 2019. That was when the report came in. And the report, from what I heard, and I keep on saying Ghana is a compound house. The appointments and promotion board is human beings who sit there. They are. So it came. It was recommended. All assessors had passed me. They normally will invite an external assessor for the external assessor to come and sit in. The external assessor had what? Recommended. And still, they refused to what? Take it to council. So the letter that was written to me didn't give any reason that your promotion was denied because you did not what? Pass or whatever. So when I just took my documents and left. I kept quiet. I said, look, there's no way that you are going to be able to challenge the system. Just leave it. And the rules and regulations surrounding University of Education Winneba gives you room to what? To petition. So when Afubruni left, I petitioned the university. That was under the leadership of Professor Brinkran. Brinkran was then the acting vice chancellor. I petitioned that this is what happens if they can look at it again. They looked at it, and they saw no fault, so they gave it to me.
Okay.
So when I hear people say that I used my position as the Deputy Director General, I was Deputy Director General, not Director General, Deputy Director General, for them to promote me, I find it quite interesting.
Did you use your connections to get your
but
title?
as I said, I just gave you the trajectory of how things happened. it wasn't as if it was the case that the external assessors had failed you. You get where I'm coming from? The external assessors had what? Failed you. The person who is the external assessor who came said that you had failed. That one, you can make a case. But this is the case that you never had been failed. You never had been failed. All the assessors had passed you. And the committee says that they are not, they should have even given you reasons. I mean, if you refuse somebody or you fail somebody, you need to give reasons. Reasons were not given. So I took my documents home, and during that time I had to leave because I realized I had no future at that institution. But I knew at the right time, when the leadership of AfroBroni had left, I was going to petition.
Right.
Because I must say, and everybody knows, that I was not in good terms with AfroBroni. Because in fact, when you Google, you go on YouTube, you'll see me organizing demonstration against him. So this was somebody that I knew I wasn't going to
get a promotion
favor in his face.
In his
but
tenure.
that said, I mean, this is where we are.
But one last thing that the individual points out is that he couldn't link your promotion to any publications. How do you respond to that?
So initially, if you remember, they said I had no publications. They said I had no publications. Then later on, when University of Education, Winneba, wrote to clarify, to indicate the publications that are used. These are publications that you use for promotion, not all your publications. Then they said those publications were not in Scopus. Then I said, check the promotion criteria for University of Education, Winneba, whether they say you should publish in Scopus or not. Or whether your paper should be online. It doesn't say that. University of Education, Winneba, has its promotion criteria, informed by the promotion criteria of the minimum standards set by GTEC. So what you need to do is to find out whether the person met the minimum promotion requirements at University of Education, Winneba. And clearly, I met the minimum and even went beyond the minimum.
Right.
But I think the conversation that we need to have, and we are having that conversation within GTEC, is that informed by where we are now as a society, looking at the coming into place of AI, digitization, and all those things, maybe we will have to probably up our requirements in terms of promotion, but we need to get a buy-in of the various stakeholders within that space. And I keep on saying that I think we are overly concentrating on activities that do not more or less bring about some kind of empirical manifestation of impact.
What does that mean?
What it means is that if you are professorial or you are in academia, we need to see what you've done and how it affects the developmental aspirations of what? Of this country. So in most of our professors, including myself, what kind of impactful research that you've conducted that you can see the evidence being empirically what? Manifested. So if you've published in this paper, that paper, how does that reflect on the...
I mean, is that to say that the standards now are low?
I'm not saying they are low.
In terms of the requirements?
I'm not saying they are low because I cannot say that by virtue of where I sit. But I think we need to look at it again.
You think we should tighten it a bit more?
Not necessarily, but let's look at it again. Let's take a look at what the standards are. Let's look at what is required of us in terms of our contribution to the socio-economic development of this nation relative to where we are coming from as academia can manifest in we seeing tangible results. Today we are talking of Galamsey. What have we done in academia in coming out with some kind of prescriptions in dealing with it? And how have we tested it? And how are we able to know that it's worked? So that synergy between what we do in the classroom and what is happening in society It's something that we need to take pay serious attention to.
And then UCC also took you to court
UCC
because you had threatened them of non-existence.
UCC did not take us to court. In fact, University of Cape Coast, what happened was very unfortunate.
Okay.
But I think it's happened at a time that it's made the general public appreciate what is going on in the universities when it comes to retirement and office holding. The whole thing at UCC had to do with what?
The Vice
Chancellor having retired and the Vice Chancellor having asked to step aside, informed by his retirement, and the management of the institution more or less saying they were not going to respect the directive of the regulatory agency, which is GTEC. So what we were expecting was, even if they had issues with it, they could have gone to court. But to say we are not going to heed to that more or less directive, that was where we thought it was problematic. So if you say you are not going to heed to that, then some services that we render to you, we had every right to what? To withdraw it. But
and you withdrew it. How long did you withdraw it?
Well, just for some few hours, and I think management came to the realization that, look, this is an individual who has an issue. In as much as we support him, we need to abide by the regulation, because we sit there as management because we are there by virtue of the law. It's the law that put us there. So if the law also gives a higher appellate authority the power to more or less ensure that we do the right thing, then we have no option than to do it. And it's good that there's the sanity in the institution now. I think you may not hear anything going on at UCC. We hope that there's none of that nature recurring in any other institution. The law is very clear. If you are 16,
so why did the lecturer take GTEC, UCC to court? Well,
I think it had to do with the renewal of the mandate of the Vice Chancellor then.
Okay.
Which is his mandate being renewed for him to stay in office post 60 years for some, is it 9 or 10 months?
Has that matter been withdrawn from the court?
The matter has been withdrawn. The UCC Governing Council has taken a decision that his retirement age, which is 60, which passed, is what should be the retirement age. And as a result, he's no more the Vice Chancellor. So I think they are going to start the processes to appoint a substantive Vice Chancellor.
What role will GTEC play in that?
Well, I sit on the council, and being a member of the council, definitely whoever is recommended, it has to come to the council for council to give the final approval. So one way or the other, GTEC has a role in the appointment of the substantive Vice Chancellor.
Are you doing too much?
Well, I think there's a lot that needs to be done. I strongly believe that Ghana as a country is well positioned to be the destination for tertiary educational delivery within the West African sub-region. And it's an industry that if we seriously pay attention to, it will become one of the means through which we can make a lot of foreign exchange. Why am I saying this? You have a lot of people travel to the United Kingdom, to Australia, to Canada, to source education. Here in Ghana, look at our neighbors. Burkina Faso, coup d'etat, Niger, Mali, recently Benin. Nigeria has a lot of issues. Here we have one of the most stable democracies within the African continent. Electricity is stable. There's security guaranteed. So if we are able to position our institutions in a manner that at least we can win the confidence and trust of our neighbors, most of them will bring their children here. And I keep on saying that it is better for you to be in Ivory Coast, to have your child school in Ghana, where you can at any time come here, than to have your child in the United States, where it has to take you 3, 4, 5, 6 months before you see him or her. So we are challenged to do our little that we can do to make sure that that space is one that is enviable and is one that is what? Attractive.
Looking back at this year, do you think sometimes you overreach?
Well, I wouldn't say I overreach, but I think looking back, the means with which we did some of the things moving forward, I think will change that style.
What will change?
And one of them has to do with maybe the tone of our communication and our letters. I've had people speak to me that sometimes the tone looks overly authoritarian, or I mean, if we could be a bit measured in that. And I think it's something that we'll be looking at. But I also take inspiration from the fact that there seems to be a gradual acceptance of the need for tertiary institutions to be more or less, I wouldn't say regulated, but to be guided one way or the other. Because, you see, historically, tertiary institutions have always been their own world. You know, the whole academic freedom. You remember one point in time when Dovolo Lati wanted to, University of Ghana to open that the Ponglo Gate. Yeah. The brouhaha that surrounded it. Today, we, GTech, may not have the audacity to tell University of Ghana to do such things. But once University of Ghana is doing one or two things which are wrong, we can correct them and we can engage them. Recently, we published about 6 distance learning centers run by University of Ghana. And we said they should shut them down.
Have they?
I mean, we've published it. We've told them they should shut them down. They should teach the students out. We are not going to give them accreditation for those centers. The only way that we would allow them to operate it is if they do the right thing. And it is in the interest of the university and its image and the staff who are working there, if the university invests in those centers. So invest in the centers, we'll give you accreditation. The students who go there will get the best of education, they'll be happy. And when JTech is doing this, how do you say that JTech has overreached? So it is an environment that is evolving.
Maybe perhaps because there is a very thin line in the autonomy of the university and GTech's regulatory powers.
So autonomy does not mean that you should take fees from students, put them in a facility where the tiles are uprooted, the table and chairs are not there. In fact, they do not have washrooms for even the staff. Washrooms for even the staff. So when JTech comes in and tell you that get the table and chairs, get the tiling done, get the washrooms fixed, make sure the Brighton board or whatever, even if it is not a smart board, get something that is commensurate with whatever you are taking from the students. You cannot tell me that we are venturing into your academic freedom. Everybody needs to be more or less not regulated, so to speak, but you need to be given some guidance. And fortunately for us, the job that we do is informed by peer review. So I sitting here will not go to University of Ghana to go and assess their chemistry lab to make a determination whether the chemistry lab is fit for purpose or not. I will take somebody from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, who is a professor, who has the credibility to go and assess, advise, then GTech writes the letter. So in effect, it is not GTech that does the assessment.
It's peer review.
It's peer review. So University of Ghana will go to University of Cape Coast. University of Cape Coast will go to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology will go to Accra Technical University. The Accra Technical University goes to Bolga Technical University. So the commission only provides the vehicle for the assessment to be done and the report to be generated. And the decision, even though it's taken by JTech, is emanating from what? Their colleagues.
Let's get deeper into the how.
Yes.
You implement your mandate. But we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll look at that. This is Hot Issues. My guest is Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Professor Ahmed Jinapor. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
This is the banking app that makes you live a lot more. Even when the family is apart, connection is just a tap away with the Stanbic app.
That's my daughter. Oh! I've got this.
Yay! You are the best!
Thank you.
You don't know, you don't go listen anything. Every day, I beg, why? The water be free.
Ghana Water Disconnection Team.
Level up to one secure experience and do more with the Stanbic Bank app.
Grandma, oh yeah, guy!
And with Spend Insights, you instantly understand your spending, so planning becomes effortless. Download the Stanbic app now on the Google Play and Apple App Store.
Is everything okay?
Oh my God.
Mum and Dad, if you're looking for safe, affordable entertainment for your little ones this festive season, GoTV is your family's happy place. On our fun-filled and educational channels, wild imaginations can run free. So, stick with GoTV, at home or on the go with GoTV Stream. GoTV is every happy child's happy place. GoTV. Love it.
Passion isn't something you choose. It chooses you. It wakes up before the sun rises. It pushes you when the world thinks you have gone too far. And when the noise fades, power is what remains. I started learning boxing at the age of 10 years. I've been 4 times national champion in Ghana, and I'm also 2 times African bronze medalist. I turned pro last year, and I've won national title, UBO African belt. I'm also the current WBO African bantamweight champion. I want to be a world champion, not just a world champion. I want to be the first Ghanaian boxer to be the undisputed, to have all the 4 world titles. My name is Theophilus Alotu. This is my legacy in the making.
The Showdown, live on Saturday, 20th December at 5 p.m. on TV3. Sponsored by Gold Board, Blue Jeans Energy.
Hot issues here on TV3. I'm Kemeni Amano, and in this edition, I sit down with the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Professor Ahmed Jinapor. Prof, thank you so much for sitting down with us. Let's look at the how a bit deeper. Okay. How does GTEC arrive at some of the decisions that it takes?
Okay, so basically, GTEC as a body uses people, especially in academia. So we take something like accreditation of programs. We have a database of individuals, minimum senior lecturer upwards. We have database of people within the professional enclave who, if we want to go and assess a program, we pull them from different institutions, give them the data as submitted by the institution for them to go and verify. So if University of Ghana wants to start a program, PhD in artificial intelligence, what we need to do is we have to look around Ghana to find where we have faculty who have the expertise in artificial intelligence for them to go and assess. They assess, they generate the report. The report is brought to a committee, which is called the Accreditation Committee. The committee is made up of people who have expertise from different backgrounds. People, engineering, medicine, humanities, people from the vice chancellor. So they sit down, look at the report that has been generated by the group of people who went there. Then based on that, they recommend it to the board, for the board to take a decision. So our activities are peer-reviewed. In fact,
how often do these peer reviews
it's done every time.
Okay.
Every time. I mean, currently we have about 4,000 programs that are being run across the country. And these 4,000 programs, for a program that is assessed for the first time, you are given accreditation for 3 years. After 3 years, we go back to check if the infrastructure is available. Then we give you 5 years. I've had people who say that once you are given accreditation, you don't need to what? You don't need to come for re-accreditation. Then I ask myself, doesn't the classroom deteriorate? Don't chairs break down? Don't the library deteriorate? In fact, some of the faculty may either die or resign. So we definitely will have to come and do what? A reassessment of what you are doing to be able to validate if the purpose for which you brought the program before the commission is still intact. I've had people say that, especially from the big universities. Why can't the universities do it themselves? You cannot evaluate yourself. You need to have somebody to come and what? To check if what you say you are doing it right. So we do all kinds of things. We do audit, we do institutional accreditation, cyclical review, which is 5-year review. For instance, University of Ghana, such a big school, we still go there every 5 years to find out what is going on.
Right.
If you remember recently, His Royal Majesty Otufo, who is the Chancellor for KNUST, during their graduation, did call on government that government should give them clearance because according to GTEC, I was very surprised. He said, according to GTEC, they don't have the staff. So we went there to what? To look at the institution. And we realized that they didn't have the requisite human manpower to do what? To teach. So we advised them 2 things. You cut down on the numbers, or we work towards getting you what? Clearance.
I see.
So,
and which step have they taken so far, apart from calling on the government?
Well, as of now, we are monitoring the numbers. I think the last time that we met, most of the institutions recommended that they cut down on the admission numbers because at the end of the day, we still have a lot of the private institutions that have the capacity to admit, but they don't have the students. You cannot allow one institution admitting 26,000 students for a year. You go to the schools and they are standing at the corridors of the lecture hall, and it's more or less like a church. We cannot allow that. So when GTEC comes in and requests of such institutions to more or less reduce their intake to ensure that the student-lecture ratio is one that is not perfect, but at least something that is reasonable, and it becomes a problem. But let me state for a fact that the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission do not work in isolation. Most of our resource persons, if not all, are people who work within that space. So when we go to an institution to look at the viability of that institution relative to what it is doing, the people who go there are not me. I never go on institutional site visits.
Right.
The people who go there are people within the academic field.
I see. So, Prof, let's take it a few steps back. The law also prescribes penalties.
Yes.
Have you applied any penalty over the period?
Well, for now, we haven't applied penalty, so to speak, even though the law says that if you run, advertise, or cause to advertise any program that is not accredited, you can be sentenced to jail for 20 years. But we are hesitant to push it because we ourselves do believe and appreciate the fact that the accreditation adherence culture is one that is still what? Is still growing. There are a lot of people who operate within that space who never even thought that they needed to have accreditation.
Even while GTEC was accreditation
NAB,
board?
when accreditation board was there, yes. Because accreditation board by then, I mean, think about it.
Or maybe it's because there are no penalties
Because
applied.
there are no penalties. But what gives me courage is that the caliber of people who are managing the universities currently are those that are very, very receptive to the need for them to what? Adhere to the accreditation principles and tenets. I'll give you a typical example. Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Dixon, at a point in time, every day, 5 a.m., she's calling me because she knows that by 5, I'm on the way to work. And she has this diagram that gives her an idea of the progress that they are making when it comes to accreditation. And we've done a lot when it comes to accreditation at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Same applies to University of Ghana and most of the institutions. And I think we will get there. When it gets to a time that we realize that we need to crack the whip, we will do that. But I think
so now you are rebuilding the culture.
No, we are rebuilding the culture. And I think even now, recently, if you have been monitoring the news, UCC had a Master of Science in Customs Administration. We pulled down the accreditation. We revoked it. Even though they had accreditation, what they said they were going to do was not what they were doing. So we revoked it. Gone are the days you couldn't do that. But today, gradually, people are beginning to appreciate the fact that you need to do the right thing. And it's in their interest if they do the right thing. But mind you, what we do here is not only accreditation. GTech does
much
so
more than
many other things. In fact, we advise government. We advise the universities and colleges. We serve as a conduit between the institutions and government. We serve as a platform for inquiry when it comes to institutions from outside the country who wants to establish here, just a couple of them.
And one of the things that you also do is not just the staff, quality of staff, but also the quality of programs.
Exactly.
What is GTech's position about the courses being offered in our tertiary institutions?
Well, I think, first of all, we believe that courses that are offered must align to our national developmental goals. And if you remember, recently I made a statement somewhere where I indicated that if you are coming for re-accreditation of a program, you need to provide evidence of employability of students who have graduated from that school. Because if at the end of the day, you have a program that you've run for 5 years and you cannot provide any evidence of tracer studies, where did the students go who graduated? How many of them were employed? How many of them have created jobs? We need to know. But as I indicated, the truth of the matter is that this environment that we are working is not an easy environment. There's a lot of pushback. In fact, the whole idea that people have to stay in their niche, work within their mandate, is a problem. Today, as we speak, just this morning, I think I was watching TV3, nurses are complaining that they are going on demonstration because they have not been placed.
Yeah.
Teachers are complaining because they've not been. Meanwhile, every day there are nursing schools being established. Every day, institutions that have been established to do engineering, and they want to run nursing programs. So I asked myself, all these people that we are training at, where are they going to get jobs?
You think we should nip the accreditation?
We are doing it. We are doing it. So as a policy, GTech says that if you want to establish a nursing school or a nursing program in Ghana, go to Ministry of Health, get policy clearance, go to the Nursing and Midwifery Council and get clearance. Because after all, it's Ministry of Health that's going to employ you.
Before accreditation?
Before we can even start. Medicine, the same. The allied health sciences, the same. Law, we were doing the same, but we've revised it a little bit. It has to get to a time that all the professional entities have to be involved. Because we do the academic infrastructure auditing. But when it comes to the placement, the professional body is the one that's going to absorb them. So I think that, yes, people are resistant when we tell them to concentrate on certain areas that we think is of national importance to us as a people. But it has to get to a time that they have no option than to abide by it. One typical example, our technical universities. Technical universities, by their name, are technical. But today, when you want them to do a certain percentage within that area, the argument they make, which I agree with them, is legitimate. That Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology today is doing chi. Is doing drama. So how do you justify that?
So our technical universities are not technical enough?
They are technical enough, but our point is that they need to do more when it comes to the technical, vocational, educational aspect of what we want as a country. That was what they were set up for. And not just them. Every university apart from University of Ghana, has a niche area. It's only University of Ghana that's an omnibus area of operation. University of Education, when by its name, you cannot. University of Cape Coast. Our days, it used to be known for agric, teacher education, and they had this bilingual secretariatship and those things. Today, UCC is doing almost anything and everything. You know, Legon is today doing engineering. Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology is doing education.
A lot of humanities.
Almost everything. So we find ourselves being the regulator in a very, very difficult position, trying to make sure that these institutions stay within their mandate such that there's no duplication, repetition, overlap. You know, it's a very difficult task. At a point in time, you remember not too long ago, business administration was a very hot cake. Business administration, but today, I mean, everybody is doing business administration, so that space
So generally speaking, what advice would you give the education minister regarding management of tertiary institutions in this country, from your experience?
The advice that I'll give him, he'll tell me to go and implement it, because that is what GTech is set up for.
But you're also mandated to...
We advise him.
Yeah.
We advise him, and I think basically what we think as a commission is that we should be allowed to ensure that the institutions are made to do what they were set up to do.
Right.
I'll give you a typical example. I don't want to mention the name of the school. There's this school that by its name, beyond all intent and purposes, is supposed to be doing a certain specialized program. They come out, they say they want to do medicine. GTech says that that is outside your niche. They go to report us to our superior officer. Then the superior officer says that, look, allow them to do it. If not, it will affect us when it comes to votes. So, in that case, your hands are tied.
Political interference?
Well, I wouldn't say political interference, but describe it as you want to describe it.
How often do you face such situations?
Well, it happens, and we understand that it will happen. We do know, because, I mean, at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, the political leader or whoever works in accordance with not only following the principles, but he also has to follow how he can, satisfy his constituents.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Professor Ahmed Jinapor is Director General for the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, and we've been talking about the quality of our tertiary education ecosystem. So it has to do with everything around it. But as always, we can't bring you the entire conversation in this 50 minutes episode. So if you missed it, there's always a playback and the fuller version on all our social media handles. I'm Kemeni Amano, and this is Hot Issues. Bye-bye.